Welcome to the Music Combine State of the Union segment that we do every week here for the week of 9/20/2020. Greg, how has your week in music been, buddy?
Thanks for having me, Michael. Fantastic. Just reporting on what we're capturing here to add value to our listeners and kind of keep them in the new.
In the loop.
My name's Noop.
Noop in the loop. Anything with the bands you playing in? Anything going on?
Sure. Possible concerts in October.
Possible.
Yeah, I don't think
still not worked out.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think so either, dude. I thought that was brave when they go, "Hey, we're going back to 25% capacity in a venue." Yay!
It's like, hey, we're going back to 25% of the capacity in a venue, but we don't even know if anybody's going to come anyway into a show in general. And 25%.
You know what's funny about that is like probably the last great. It was a national tragedy too, but I think it really affected the tri-state area was when the towers fell, which we just passed the 19th anniversary of the towers falling. I remember going to see Rollins Band was like one of the first shows to kind of come back in New York at Irving Plaza, and the show was sold out, but it was only half full because people were terrified of being in an open public place and being terrorized.
It's weird.
I feel like we're going to have a similar situation with this, but who knows?
That's a good point. I forgot the mental state of everybody at that time before everything started getting back to normal again.
Yeah.
And that was a fear. People just going to any venue or anywhere. That in fact, I just stayed home and was kind of scared. We didn't know what to think. So it could be like that.
On that note, we're going to start with our first article from Shape magazine. I don't read Shape, but I saw this through a friend of ours here in a friend of mine. I would consider them a friend of everybody because they're such nice people, but the Stahlcups. Julie Kay and Daryl Stahlcup are friends of mine, and they come through our friend Rebecca Mala, or my friend Rebecca Mala, who's the mother of my godson Ryder. And her husband Chris live in Arkansas, and Julie's from Arkansas originally, and so was Becca. And Julie has the most premier dance studio out here in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, California. And she's turned out stars out of there, not by design, but just by the great work that she does. One of them is Billie Eilish and her brother. The other one was Julia Butters, who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And recently in this article in Shape, they spotlight and talk about how, Corona has obviously affected their business. California has pretty strict things going on with people being in enclosed spaces and dancing in there and stuff like that. And Julie Kay and her husband Daryl, who run the business together, truly a power couple,
awesome.
really kept paying their staff, if you read the article. And with that's a great financial burden because I think they have 4 kids.
Well, on top of
on top of life itself, they have like 4 kids. And I literally read this article and was like, this is amazing. Like Billie literally went on this Verizon Pay It Forward live series, which I guess is a webcast.
Right.
And basically dedicated all the promotions to Revolution Dance Center, RDC, out here in California.
It's huge.
Huge. And I got to say one thing, man. We look at this whole situation of, restaurants, businesses, however you look at it. This truly... And to me, like we talk about the education, the value, and everything else on this show. Yeah. Julie and her husband truly, and God bless Billie, by the way, for doing this.
Yeah.
But Julie and her husband are truly like, people of service. They want to see everyone do well. They're high energy. They care about those kids so much in that dance studio. And if her Instagram was more active with her going to dance competitions and stuff, she's not the typical, I don't want to say that word, but she's not the typical like dance mom. She wants to see everyone succeed. She wants to see everyone do well. And she's like high spirit, high energy. So, we hope that this helped them out, and also just kind of draw attention to, people who are out there. These are the stories you don't hear.
Yeah, bring it to the public eye. And
these are the stories you don't hear in the music business. These are the stories you hear, like guys not touring, which is a big thing, but also you hear about like kind of the ancillary services that get presented to people to make their careers happen at a very young age. This is crucial. I think dance studios, I think music schools like School of Rock, places like that for kids to go to can sometimes save a kid's life in the sense of them not, maybe not having a great, what's the word I'm looking for? Not having like a great teenage childhood. That's the one thing that turns it around because they have a mentor that kind of steers them in a certain direction.
Yeah, and that school is legendary. It has a name for itself, and to be put out there, like for Billie to put that out there and raise money for them is such an awesome thing to give back, to be able to give back. So they, that's a dividend that they probably didn't even depend on counting on. And then my niece is in dance school and she loves it, and she's not one that gets along with other kids too well, and she's like kind of a loner. And
that's my point. It's like the socialization. I mean, this is like, I get the whole thing for parents. Homeschooling sucks and kids need interaction and stuff. And I see it with my niece at 5 years old. Like she probably needs it more now than ever. Mm-hmm. But this is a short period of time. The lasting effects of it, though, will ring out much longer than a year and a half.
It will last a lifetime for these kids. I mean, I think about
some of them,
I think about having SG Music in Waldwick to go.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That saved me because I went through some hard times too when I was actually in school. Like, believe it or not, I had people that turned on me, and like that was my outlet to go there. And my drum instructor would be like, you know what, you're awesome at drums. We're going to teach you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That place was like our safe haven. They actually closed it down, and this was pre-COVID. However, it was like one of those places that really it gave me confidence to be able to do what I thought I was awesome doing, but other people may have tried to steer me wrong because it made them feel better and they're haters. But like when you have a mentor and a place that you can go and confide in people, that's where it's at, man. So this dance studio is that.
No, exactly. And love the Stahl Cup family. I love what they do. I've sent people to them to teach their kids. I hope they weather this. It would be, my point is you have to go out and support local businesses right now more than ever. I know it's cheaper to go to Walmart to get your groceries, but go to the local shops.
Yep.
Take care of them. It's necessity right now.
Inject that back into your community. If you're in your town and you're not getting your vegetables from the fresh market, or you're around the corner, or you're going to Walmart instead of just a local convenience store, even if it's your local convenience store. So all those things matter. It's just heartwarming to hear that somebody like Billie Eilish is giving back to the community like that, and rightfully so.
Yeah, definitely. This is from Loudwire. Kurt Hammett defends Metallica's decision to keep making blackened whiskey. This has been a thing in the past few years, and I feel like Metallica is the first one to really take it seriously.
How do you mean seriously?
What's up?
How do you mean take it seriously? Like is it not as those other companies or like people that have alcohol not taking it seriously? Like in the fact of what, like some of them don't drink?
No, I think that they were the first ones that kind of plant the flag. So, if you talk about bands and brands and stuff, and we'll get to the point of this article in a second, Slipknot has kind of followed in lockstep with them with their own, whiskey. Band upon band upon band upon band has their own beer, from Anthrax to Every Time I Die to Metallica. What's up?
Deftones.
Yeah.
They have their own beer.
Who has their own beer?
Deftones.
Oh, Deftones. Couldn't hear you. You're a little muffled. But we have all these people out there who are making liquor. The thing with Metallica is the band is I think 3/4 of them are sober.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it makes it for a very, very interesting criticizing of them, which you really shouldn't. And Kirk makes the point in this article of, you know what, if I had diabetes, I couldn't sell sweets. He's right.
Right.
It's not like they have the distillery at Metallica HQ.
Right.
And he's right. Alcoholism and psychological issues or emotional issues that revolve around drinking come from a far deeper problem than just selling some booze.
Yes, of course.
And, I like Loudwire as a paper and stuff, but obviously they're in the newstainment business, not the news business. And, this is, it almost seems like this is a little taken out of context and kind of paints Kurt in this weird light, but he's right in a lot. If this quote is true, it's right in a lot of ways.
Yeah, sure.
Like, we're here to make money. And we're a corporation at the end of the day.
Right.
The thing is that for us to go on, feed our families, do what we need to do, and granted, Metallica's at the top of the food chain. They should be allowed to do whatever they want. These are changing times. And this goes to our point with everything we say on our podcast about how you need to find alternative avenues of income as a musician. And with the past week, what Ben Weeks said on our episode last week, that came out on Friday. Yeah. We saw how it's a quote from him. We saw how fragile the live model was. So I'm sorry. In bad times or good times, people are going to drink booze.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean Metallica, one of the the biggest metal band in the world, isn't allowed to keep manufacturing their whiskey.
Well, I just think it's really catty of people to say, "Oh, well, he just went through rehab for the second time. Why are you guys selling whiskey?"
It has nothing to do with anything.
What do you think they're doing? Driving a fucking truckload up to the back of their goddamn his house and like, here, dude. Let's see how this goes. Like, that's the kind of the image I get, that people are they get on their high horse, and it's like, oh,
well, that's what it is. It's them getting on their high horse. It's
high horse. Oh, you shouldn't do this. It's like,
so they're not allowed to. It's America. This is why we're here. We're all allowed to, just because
freedom. America. All right. So the next article, which this one's really kind of fun. It's from Billboard magazine.
Big Rack or
no. This is the one about this is a publishing article. So Vine investment firm acquires publishing catalog of songwriter Sean Douglas. So Sean Douglas is a songwriter, not necessarily an artist. He's written songs for Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry, David Guetta, Hey Mama, Jason Derulo's Talk Dirty, Tom and Miss Rhett's Die a Happy Man, and Lizzo's Like a Girl. And so what Vine investment firm does is they are a alternative investment firm. And they obviously, the way kind of an investment firm like that works is they're basically a hedge fund from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And what happens is if you have certain minimums, they go out and they find alternative investments for your money to create a certain amount of interest.
Right.
What's interesting to me is that this is the second one I've seen this year that has drawn news. The first one being Taylor Swift and Carlyle Group giving Scooter Braun money to buy out Big Machine and buy out Taylor Swift's publishing, and her getting all up in arms because Carlyle Group deals with companies like Westcom and a lot of big defense contractors, which is not very great. Also, the other thing is Carlyle Group, one of their principal partners is a guy named David Rubenstein.
Right.
Has no business being in the music business. I love his show on Bloomberg. It's one of the best business shows you could ever watch.
The other day, right?
Yeah. One of the best business shows you could ever watch, because he goes and interviews like heads and CEOs, and he really gets to these very simple questions. I think he's a good guy at heart. It's just they invest in certain things, and it's not agreeable with everybody.
Sure.
But the thing is like, if you look at this company Vine, and that's not to be confused with the old platform of Vines,
right?
Which turned into TikTok, I believe.
Right.
It's not the same thing, by the way, but they're called Vine. And, in this article, they quote Price Cooper Waterhouse, which is basically a accounting firm, a very large accounting firm. And what they've done is they said that the alternative investment market right now will garner about 13 million. 13 is it trillion or million? I think it's 13
trillion.
trillion this year.
Trillion.
13 trillion in revenue this year for clients. And that's just a drop in the bucket of the economy.
Yeah, but it's up from 11.2 trillion. So this is
market. It's ever growing, and it's growing at a rate of about 10% each year,
which is that's astronomical.
So my point of bringing up this article is that I find when I talk to people at publishing companies and work for publishing companies, what they're not doing for their artists and how artists are disenfranchised. This looks like the future of buying people's stuff in perpetuity, even though I don't think it says they bought it in perpetuity in this article. But I could see where there was a few companies a few years ago that were buying up legacy catalogs in perpetuity, and I can't remember the name of the company. And it was presented to me through a friend like 3-4 years ago. Hey, if you know anybody who's got 300,000 or more in a publishing catalog, we're willing to buy it perpetuity in cash. I said, how do you fucking do that? He goes, well, I can't tell you who the company is. I said, I wasn't going to do it. It would sound like a fucking whack job.
Well, this is
going, hey, I got this guy, he's buying catalogs. Is yours worth more than 300,000?
You're in
those deals. You're in.
We're good. So they're saying here he's accepting an award. And he's like, it's funny that I'm not even in the conversation. It's not my award, says the 31-year-old songwriter who enjoyed a breakout moment at the Golden Globes. So because he was able to purchase certain catalogs or work with certain artists and that being purchased, he's not really directly over.
Yeah, the thing is he'll always be the face of it. So probably what they'll do in this situation. Yeah. So 11.2 trillion, and it will rise 8.7 annually to 21 trillion. I mean, that's freaking huge. That's
what does that mean for the little guy though? It's like that's like a huge market.
Here's where I'm getting to it.
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
So what's going to happen is that my theory behind this, and it's absolutely a hypothetical theory, is that people will basically start building their catalogs on their own in the future.
Right.
And what will happen is these larger companies with these investments, it's like us with the podcast, right? We have evergreen entertainment week in, week out.
Yep.
New episodes sometimes don't play the highest in our podcast. It's sometimes the older ones because people are seeking other stuff, but it still builds our numbers.
Sure. Yeah.
And so what they were doing in this situation is if they own the catalog, they own it like any other asset. And the thing is like year in, year out, those songs will get played year in, year out. They will get the publishing from those songs. And he won't. He's been paid out, and it doesn't say what he got paid out, but he got paid out probably a large amount of money non-disclosed because of trading laws and stuff like that.
Where in general, if this hedge fund wasn't involved, he would be being paid out. If
the normal, but they probably paid him out for a lifetime or something like that, or has to recoup a certain amount at a certain point.
Had to be worthwhile for him to do that.
Yeah, it'd definitely be worthwhile. I mean, he's 31. He has some pretty freaking big hits. I mean,
yeah,
and he's going to write more.
Yeah, right. He's like, this will allow me to write more and, grow.
Will allow you to write more. Probably the money he got. And again, it doesn't say in the article what it is, so we're speculating here. But, he really, it's a win-win for all. So, I mean, I think honestly, and you and I have been discussing this, I really feel this is the wave of the future of publishing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the greatest wave, but I think it's the wave of the future.
It's funny. It's some, the financing companies, the hedge funds cashing in on this type of.
Well, let's put it this way. They can't tank it like you would freaking,
the stock market?
Toys R Us. No, Toys R Us.
Oh, Toys R Us was, yeah.
Because like what hedge funds will usually do is they'll buy an entity like that, or they'll put money in an entity like that, and then they'll start leveraging assets against it, and they basically tank it.
Yeah. Toys R Us, man. Oh my God. I wanted to actually tap into last week's episode on the Facebook Live thing.
Yeah.
From Damian Keyes and a couple other key mentors in the industry that we follow.
Yeah.
Both at the same time. So they're saying now, they did not clarify this. Last week it was like you can't post music and live on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen some things that have changed since then, so we might have to retract a little bit what we said last week.
Retracting anything we didn't know because and this is the other thing Damien was saying. He's saying everybody it looked like black and white. You can't post things on live stream when it comes to music. They didn't say anything in between. So for us to be like, we were just trying to interpret it like anybody else. So apparently you just can't play other people's music on a live stream. You can't DJ. You know, the guys are DJing.
Well, that I mean, that's just basic fucking
copyright
publishing, copywriting.
So now they're instilling this. This has been going on since 2018 in October, but they really never instilled it. And this year they're
probably getting snapped by BMI and everyone, and all the collection, all the PROs are just going, "Hey, man, you better check this out."
People are trying to cash in because maybe something's not going on as much as it was before, and now they're paying attention. So that's the thing. So if you're an original artist like myself or you, we're allowed to still live stream with our own music. But if we're playing anybody else's music, they will shut your account down. They will shut it down.
Yeah, I know.
Play anybody else.
I know.
If you're planning on doing somebody else's music, do it on another platform. Otherwise, you're looking at a ban from Facebook.
Yeah. So next article, and I want to do a screen share real quick and see if this works. Sure. Big Wreck played, I believe it was on Friday night in Ontario, Canada, one of these drive-in shows, and it's kind of going to pivot into what we're going to talk about for this next week's episode. Give me 1 second. We got to share this because it was too funny.
It took a hiatus for a little while before they got back into this.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about a few things about this that's interesting. So hold on 1 second. I got to play this because it's so. I mean, this whole driving show thing is
cool.
So weird to me. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, your vehicles. This is Christy Dowling.
That's just weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Instead of
clapping,
it's horns. A bunch of clowns.
So I just kind of went, "Oh, really? Okay."
Thank you, Cleveland or Ontario.
No, they're from Ontario, Canada. I mean, they're since Ontario, Canada. If you know Big Wreck, if you know the power of what that band is, Brian, their guitar player, passed away right before this last record called "The Memory Of" came out, which is an amazing album. I believe he played on it, but he passed away from cancer quickly, tragically, and Chris Goodell has stepped in, young buck, has stepped in his place and has done an amazing job. I saw them in October here in LA at the Terragram Ballroom, and longtime fan, first time seeing them, and I was just like, nothing gets better than a Big Wreck show.
Great. Well,
by the way, I'm going to throw it out there. I want Ian Thornley, the lead singer of Big Wreck, on our show. Throwing it out there. Ian, you want to come on? We will always have you on the Combine. You're one of our favorites. But, it's not against Big Wreck. It just, to me, again, the whole concept of a drive-in show is weird. And you look what he said to him. You could just tell from that video clip. He's just like, "Ladies and gentlemen, in your cars." It's like, burr, burr, burr.
No clapping, no hands.
No hands. Just, I mean, that's too loud. Like the clap is like this. That's just too loud.
That's just, at least they're putting the right foot forward.
Definitely. But I think the thing is this leads to our next point. If you look at that video, you can find it. Just type in the Google search, Big Wreck Drive-In Show. You can watch the whole thing. I mean, they're an amazing band. They sound amazing. They sound amazing in the YouTube video.
It was
not that one, but
right for them.
What's up?
Success for them.
It was success for them. But here's the thing: about 2 weeks ago, like 2 Fridays ago, maybe it was last Friday, they did a live stream on nugs.net with a live audience in a club.
Interesting.
And it was for the El Macombo, which I don't know what the El Macombo is. I think it's part TV show in Canada and part club.
Okay.
Almost like an Austin City Limits, but for Canada.
Yeah.
And, Ian did an interview before, and they played a good hour and 15-minute set, and they sounded amazing for not playing probably for a whole bunch of, probably since December when their last tour wrapped up.
Half a year?
Half a year, or more than half a year, 9 months, almost a year.
It's as much as a birth of a baby.
Lovely baby. So, hats off to them, because I think that their shows are very intimate experience. And I'm surprised Thornley did it, because the thing is when you go see his shows, he does not like people holding up their cell phone cameras and all that other stuff. And
put that aside for this one.
Yeah, he's like, be involved in the memory of this show.
I agree with that. It's like,
I agree with it too.
Where the girl was on her camera and she's like sitting in the top tier.
Yeah.
Fucking phone in the middle. And like, I mean, she's blatantly on her phone and he sees it. David.
Who's this? Oh, I saw that from Disturbed.
Hey, you're at a fucking rock show. What are you doing right now on your phone? Like, am I crazy for saying this? Like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, he's right.
I mean, Maynard fucking
you paid so much money. Oh, Maynard's got some awesome things with fans. The one where he dry humped the guy.
I don't know about
Have
that.
You seen this? This kid tried to run on stage during they have a song called Fist Fuck. It's something to that. Stinkfist. He ran on stage during Stinkfist.
Yeah.
And basically Maynard just dropped him on the floor and jujitsu'd him and was like, see, the guy was flat on the stage.
I heard about this.
And he was just riding him like a horse while he sung Stinkfist.
Oh, you gotta love him. He made it a joke.
He made it a joke. I mean, here's the thing, which leads to our next episode next week. We're doing the Roadie Roundtable. We got 9 guys together, from Marcus Sheffer, Stephen Shaw, who's been on the show, James McMahon. Help me out.
Weston Blaha.
Mr. Blaha Blaha. Neil Lim Sang, who is the guy, he's a photographer who shot the last Slayer show here in Los Angeles and is an amazing human being and great photographer. We had P. King, who's also been on the show before, so you know that one's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And then we had Brian Moran, who was also on the show, who actually, this kind of leads into the thing with this article. Brian he lives in Pennsylvania. He usually tours with bands like Slash, Stone Sour. He worked for Buck Cherry. That's where I met him. Him and Marcus both worked together during that time. And I'm thinking, Baby Metal was the last band, and Mark Morton, he's also worked with.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it, and I couldn't picture where he's doing sound for Jim Gaffigan. Mm-hmm. And he was saying when you guys watch the episode on Friday, you'll see what we're talking about. There's a 13-second delay because people were listening at the radios in their car, which I'm sure it was the same situation with this Big Rec show.
Meaning that audience did that start honking the hongs maybe 13 seconds after they played this?
No, because there was right away. So more than likely they were standing outside their cars. But I'm sure there was some sort of delay. But
Brian,
Brian, it was like major. It was like 13 or 20 or whatever it was.
Can you imagine playing and then you have to wait 15 seconds before you get some type of reaction? You guys hear me out there? Especially if you're a stand-up.
High five. Don't leave me hanging.
All right. Your time.
Hey, okay.
Blenders on left if you like.
What?
Hazards on.
Hazards on. So yeah. So I mean, this week's episode with the Roadie Roundtable is pretty massive, pretty amazing. Matt Woods from Trivium's on it too.
Kiss is Gene.
Oh yeah, Michael Berger is also on. I can't forget everybody. There's so many people in that episode.
Speaks the fantastic point of view of being.
Are you from Turkey?
I'm like, actually,
funny. I am. My dad is. But it was a fun episode. It's a little longer one this week because we wanted to cut it into 2.
But we couldn't.
But because the way we kind of laid out the questions and it is a round table, it just kind of rolled.
Yeah.
And we had a blast for 2 hours with these guys.
Right. So I'm just going to tap into that. So one of the great things about the podcast here is we're bringing you behind the scenes of like the people that nobody talks about, like the people that make the show happen, that if it wasn't for and the other thing to me as a musician is I didn't realize how passionate these guys were, just as much as the bands that they're working for or with. And how like, we had that moment in a conversation where it was like, yeah, man, when we get that show going, it's like, it gives us chills up our spine, like this is
it's why you do it. I mean, there's ways to make a lot more money than being part of the road crew.
I mean, this is interesting too, because it shows that people do like to hear from the behind the scenes, because there's a show called Roadies I think Owen Wilson's in it, or his brother. It's one of the Wilson brothers, not the.
Oh, what is it? The one where they were? No, that was the Warped Tour one. I haven't seen it.
Like an actual dramatization. It's
oh,
not,
is it?
it's like a show. It's like the roadies, like the way their life behind the scenes, from working with the artists, and it's very interesting because these guys they're all about the show, man. They're like, yeah, when those lights go down and the sound comes up and the crowd starts roaring, it's like that's.
Well, what was so interesting to me, and we'll put a pin in this, but
sure.
Patrick King, P. King always talks about, like, he's the drum tech.
Yeah.
He's more concerned about the kid in the audience who paid 30, 40, 50 bucks to come see that band play, because it's probably the 40, 50 bucks he worked his ass off to buy that ticket, and wants to make sure that he has a good show.
Yeah. Agreed.
So that's what makes this episode coming up on Friday so freaking interesting to me, and it's so amazing.
These guys are awesome. They're very, very good at what they do. They're going through a hard time just as much as the bands, if not even a little bit more.
We kind of touch on it too a little bit in the show, and things that kind of you gotta keep an eye on here. Yep. It's a great episode. We're really super proud of it. So anyway,
enjoy it.
Good other week of State of the Union.
It was a pleasure being here on this beautiful Sunday in New Jersey.
A lovely, gorgeous Sunday.
Lovely, gorgeous Sunday in Mapa, New Jersey. Reporting live. Now back to you, Miguel.
Anyway, I hope everyone has a great week. I hope this was fun for you, and thanks for listening, and we appreciate you guys. Go check out musiccombinenow.com.
It's actually musiccombine.com. Sorry.
Dude, I screw it up every time. So here's the thing to our listeners about this. When we started everything, we were like, oh, we'll call it Music Combine, or why don't we call it Music Combine now? And it was like, we got names and switch titles at some point.
Because of what's allowed on the social media platform. First, what was not the Music Combine. So the domain that we have is the musiccombine.com, where you can, the hub where you can find everything. However, I do thank everybody for tuning in here, and we're very, very honored to be able to bring you these, these important areas of the industry that can add value to your career.
Yeah. So everyone, thanks for listening, and we will see you on Friday for Roadie Roundtable, and again next week for State of the Union. All right. Peace, guys.